started working together. However, nothing fruitful has been achieved as of now. The statements issued by GNOME and KDE ahead of the event indicate that this time we could see some concrete decisions regarding the future of the Linux operating systems. But by working together, they want to bring a unified approach to the Linux community. And yeah, whatever happened to the Linux standard base project? Like, didn't we already have this community, and look past the variety of distros? The aim is to come up with a unified application system that is scalable. You know, every time they come up with a standard, somebody else comes up with a different standard to do the same thing. It's like Snaps versus Flatpak. They're both terrible, but hey, you know, we got two different standards, and from what I understand, there's actually even more than that. Neil McGovern, GNOME's executive director, said LAS represents one of the many steps towards a thriving desktop ecosystem. By partnering with KDE, we show the desire to build the kind of application ecosystem that demonstrates that open source and free software are important. The technology and organization we built to achieve this is valuable and necessary. Yeah, I don't think so. So they're apparently doing something, and we really still don't know what it is exactly. I mean, I guess if it's like what they've done in the past, I think some of the things that they did in the past were like create a single like .desktop file, for example. So it doesn't matter which desktop environment you were using. You could switch between them and still use your shortcuts, basically.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely advantages to more interoperability. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just don't think that's what makes the Linux desktop succeed or fail. I mean, it's outside of the developer's hands. It's in the hands of people who are companies who are promoting it and pimping it and whatnot. Mm-hmm. You know, if you don't have Dell putting it on their front page, well, nobody knows about it, right? Other than the people who are already using it. So right. You're not going to see it, see the sales increase or the numbers increase because people just don't know about it. Don't even know it's an option. I found when I did computer repair work back in, I don't know, many years ago, 10 years ago or so, I found that it was easy to get people on Linux. That wasn't the hard part. The hard part was, just getting it in front of them. About half my customer base actually were they were pretty much, they started all off as Windows users, and a little bit of Mac. But mostly Windows users, and about half of them would eventually buy a computer with Linux, and they wouldn't have any problems. So I think there was like a handful of people who had problems and returned their systems in like maybe 5 years that I was doing that to all non-technical people. So the masses basically, and so it's just definitely not. That was about 50%, but I think it would have hit 80% if QuickBooks hadn't been needed by a lot of businesses. I probably could have had about 80% of the population on Linux without a problem. So I don't think it's an issue with the desktop at all. It's not even an issue with like usability or even access so much. It's mostly a marketing problem, and you don't even have to have a physical retail store necessarily. I don't think. Dell was successful for years selling using retail, online, phone, and radio, and they didn't sell computers through retail outlets at that point. So, and that was when they were at the top of the game. But certainly something more like an Apple Store kind of dealie probably wouldn't be a bad route, but it's the point is it's a more expensive route to take. So it's probably not necessarily the best route for like some sort of startup to go. The best route is basically what Think Penguin did, and just go from there and market to market to Linux users, but just marketing on radio and wherever is a better approach. So let's see what else we got here. So beta news: Ubuntu-based Linux Mint 19.2 TNet is here with Cinnamon, Mate, and XFCE. So I think this is just an update to the 8. Is it the 8?
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,497. silver at $17.06, and Bitcoin is trading around $11,887. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, child sex trafficking victim Centonia Brown was released from prison Wednesday. A development welcomed by human rights advocates who said her case underscores the need to fix the nation's criminal justice system. Now 31 years old, Brown was originally sentenced to life in prison for killing one of the men who solicited her for sex when she was a 16-year-old child. The Mind Unleashed reports that in January, then-Governor Bill Haslam of Tennessee commuted her sentence following pressure from human rights groups, thousands of Americans who signed petitions and wrote letters, and celebrities who helped bring attention to her case. Brown spent more than 14 years behind bars. Brown, in a statement, said she looks forward to using, quote, my experiences to help other women and girls suffering abuse and exploitation, end quote. Though now out of prison, Brown is still under state control. She will be on parole for 10 years. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A 13-year-old boy was seriously injured after a man attacked him for not removing his hat during the national anthem at a county fair and rodeo in Montana, resulting in a fractured skull for the young boy. The Mind Unleashed reports that 39-year-old Kurt James Brockway launched his assault on the boy out of a belief that the boy had supposedly disrespected the national anthem. That's according to the Missoulian. The man was arrested and charged with assault on a minor for the attack that occurred at the Mineral County Fair and Rodeo. Taylor Hennick, a rodeo attendee, said she had just paused for the national anthem before hearing a sudden pop and then noticed a child bleeding out of his ears, seizing on the ground. As outraged bystanders quickly began surrounding Brockway, the man attempted to justify the assault by saying that, quote, the boy was disrespecting the national anthem by wearing this hat, end quote. The boy was airlifted for hospital treatment in Washington, where he received treatment for temporal skull fractures. The rapid and dangerous decline of the insect population in the United States, often called an insect apocalypse by scientists, has largely been driven by an increase in the toxicity of U.S. agriculture caused by the use of pesticides. That's according to a study published Tuesday. The study found that American agriculture has become 48 times more toxic to insects over the past 25 years and pinned 92% of the toxicity increase on the pesticides, which were banned by the European Union last year, due to the threat they pose to bees and other pollinators. The Mind Unleashed reports that Kendra Klein, Ph.D., study co-author and senior staff scientist at Friends of the Earth, said the United States must follow Europe's lead and ban the toxic pesticides before it's too late. According to National Geographic, they attack the central nervous system of insects, causing overstimulation of their nerve cells, paralysis, and death. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
I recently signed up for one of these self-defense classes and brought along a camera crew to watch. Yeah. Take a good look at this class instructor.
Thank you very much.
Boy, was he smooth. He tried to butter us up with flowery compliments like, good work, nice try.
Yeah!
But don't worry, folks, I wasn't letting my guard down for 1 second. Maybe he wasn't planning to attack me at all, but he could potentially plan to attack me at some point, and that left only one option. Take him out first. This is him. This is the guy. My quarry approached, and when the moment was right, I struck.
Oh!
I knew he'd be able to counter my every move if I just did what he had taught me, so instead, I did exactly the opposite. I beat him with a baseball bat.
I am Shelby Cross! Do not ever attack me!
Now, folks, I acknowledge that this man may have never been a threat, but a potential threat is just as dangerous as a real one. I don't play games with my life, and neither should you, and that's it.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, 855 450 free. That's free as in freedom, free as in Free Talk Live, free as in no Bernie Sanders. There's no such thing as a free lunch. 855 450 3733. That's our toll-free number. That's the number you can call to join in. Change the subject. If you don't like what we're talking about, bring up a new one. That's how we work here. In studio, it's myself, Chris.
Riley.
And nobody.
And we are going to kick things off right out of the chute with some good old-fashioned news from Nancy Pelosi. You know, that's the kind of thing that just always charges us up around here. Doesn't it, Rich? Aren't you just waiting with bated breath to find out what Nancy has said so far?
I'm so excited I can barely control my bowels.
Indeed. Of course, what Nancy is doing is pretty much repeating what President Trump is saying. We have to do something about all these guns. So now we have the leader of the House of Representatives and...
Yeah. See, my perspective is we need to do something about Pelosi and Trump. Guns are not the problem, they're the solution.
So the question that people on the left would have is, there's a lot of gun violence going on, and we don't want people who have domestic violence on their records or people who have, you know, a history of harming somebody else to have guns. What would you say to them?
I would ask them who is to judge.
I think they'd want to have a government official judge that, or someone else in power.
I think
I would point out to her that her organization is responsible for more mayhem than any other single organization on Earth. It is the only organization on Earth that has ever used a nuclear weapon in anger against human beings. So I would say that, you know, the real danger is Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump and the organization that they represent, the United States government, which, interestingly enough, is the only major corporation that's ever violated my rights personally.
Yeah.
They definitely have violated the rights, and governments around the world still violate the rights, but the left still wants some sort of solution so they don't feel, or even anybody in general wants to feel safe when they go into shopping malls.
Well, I don't blame them. I want it. I want to feel safe too. I mean, that's a big part of my happy shopping experience, not to mention the safety of my loved ones when I'm there. But what I don't do is rely on government to show up. The Supreme Court again found that police have no responsibility to protect you. That is a consistent finding. They are under no obligation to do anything to save your life. So, okay, we should put guns only in police's hands so that they can choose whether or not they wish to protect us.
And whether or not they want to murder us, because they're murdering people every day with impunity.
That's so true with the police.
Yeah. The other day I looked at the Washington Post. They keep a database of police shootings that they find through, because these things aren't easily findable. You can't go to a government website and find out how many times people have been shot by police. So
no organization wants to give you the information required to overthrow it.
So the Washington Post kind of, they dig through lots and lots of news stories, and they try to identify that number. when I looked a couple days ago, it was at 536 people for the year. It's 544 as of right now. That's what goes on. Now, out of those 546 people, a lot of them, I have no doubt, violated some law. A lot of them threatened the lives of some innocent person. I'll grant you that. But I'll wager if I were to dig through 546 examples of police use of force, I will wager that one or two of those involved, and they even break this out as a separate category. Some of these people were mentally ill. Some of these people might not have been with it, and they acted in a way that set off the police. So you have that.
See, a lot of the police are mentally ill. A lot of them are psychopaths and sociopaths, and so we need to remember that as well.
There definitely is that possibility within the police, but at the same time, not all mentally ill people are violent. I wouldn't say that mental illness in and of itself causes mass shootings.
No, that's a good point.
I don't know. The one thing that that the mass shooters seem to have in common is not even so much mental illness, but psychiatric drugs. Untreated crazy people don't shoot up schools. Only treated crazy people shoot up schools. And that, to me, raises a lot of questions about how well they're being treated.
Yes, and it does. It raises the question of the chicken before the cart, or the horse before the cart. See how and for those of you listening, understand that I have Lyme disease. That's not an excuse. That's just explaining why things are going to come out of my mouth that sound stupid.
He's got the lime and the coconut.
The thoughts are all there. They make sense until I try to say them. So it's the question of the cart before the horse. Are these people being treated because they have mental illness or the other way around? The one thing I can say is that there are going to be lots and lots of mentally ill people who pose no threat.
Right.
Oh, definitely.
Now, the odds of them getting their guns taken away because Nancy Pelosi thinks it's a good idea and that devout Republican Donald Trump feels that it's no big deal, I call that a violation of your constitutional rights. And either the Constitution is not protecting you or you have people who just have no regard for it. 855-450-FREE. I want to hear from you. What do you think on this issue?
They can also join us on our Discord line if they want to sound like they're in studio with us, and that's discord.lrn.fm.
You will sound like you are in the studio with us. Yeah, it's pretty scary. And I'm going to jump into this article by Politico. Pelosi to Trump used the Constitution to force Senate actions on guns because she's a little frustrated by
use the Constitution to force unconstitutional action.
There is a large amount of irony. Don't step in the irony as I go through this article. Speaker Nancy Pelosi on Thursday called on President Donald Trump to use his constitutional powers. Let me rephrase that. Called on him to use his constitutional powers to bring Senate back in session. Okay, he can do that. Ramping up her efforts to force Republicans to act against gun violence.
And I think they should do just that. I think they should come back and they should repeal the Gun-Free Zone Act.
I would go along with that. Gun-free zones are where a lot of shootings happen.
Like
and it's
all of them,
not that they happen, or not that it's even almost all of them. It's where people cannot legally defend themselves. That's the part I got a problem with.
And I agree with you, but a lot of people seem to have this feeling of being safe in a gun-free zone. They want to have a place where guns are not allowed.
So we should dig into these last two shootings and see if they were in gun-free zones. I haven't looked that closely, but I'd say the odds are pretty good that most shootings you hear
Actually, the Walmart shooting was not.
That's true.
Walmarts are not generally gun-free zones. Texas has certainly a lot of gun control laws.
So Ohio took place in a bar. Now, a lot of states have laws saying that no guns are allowed in bars. I don't know if that was the case, but we can dig into that and find out. The unusual request, which would be extraordinary if Trump were to agree, comes as Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has rejected Democratic demands to cut short the August recess and vote to restrict universal background checks on gun sales after 2 deadly mass shootings over the weekend. 855 453. What do you think? Does Congress need to take action? Must this be done right now? Should we be moving quick to violate your constitutionally protected rights? This is Free Talk Live.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Should you be able to earn an honest living free from senseless government interference? The Institute for Justice thinks so. That's why we've spent years defending hard-working men and women from pointless government regulations. Nationwide, IJ has created opportunity by reducing government power, but there is still more work to be done. Visit our website today at ij.org. Let IJ take care of the government so you can take care of your business.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855 450 free. That's free as in freedom. Free as in Free Talk Live, 855 450 3733. That's how you can get on the air and add something to what we're talking about or change the subject completely. This is one of the only open phones radio shows still on the air. We let you talk about what you want, not necessarily what we want to talk about. That's the beauty. In studio, it's myself, Chris. It's Rich. I'm sorry, it's nobody. And a special guest, and we sort of breezed right into this because we feel like he's part of the gang. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
Riley Blake, I'm sorry, who, there we go, my Lyme disease again. Riley does the Daily Digest for Free Talk Live.
That's right, I do, every single day. And if you want to find the Daily Digest, you can find it at feeds.freetalklive.com. You can find where the podcast main feed has everything. You can find the feed with just the digest if you want to get the copy of the digest.
And what is the digest?
So the Free Talk Live Daily Digest is 20 to 30 minutes of the best audio clips that I think are the best from the show. And it's really fun to do. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy being able to edit stuff like this and provide libertarian content. I also do a podcast called Anarcho Agenda. And if you want to find that, you can find it at Anarcho Agenda. That's ANARCHO agenda.libsyn.com. And I work full time, so I haven't been able to put out an episode weekly like I'd like to, but it's at least once a month at this point. So there are episodes coming out.
Yeah, and it is a really good, I've been on Anarcho Agenda. I think it's, Riley really does a great job. He gets some good guests on there. I'm not saying that because I've been on it. I'm saying that I like to listen because I hear some interesting people on there. In addition to Riley, the Daily Digest is great. So we produce a podcast every day. Our live radio show, which is 3 hours, 365 days a year, is also available to download in podcast format. And that's kind of cool, but not everybody has 3 hours to listen to Free Talk Live's podcast. What Riley does is he curates what he thinks is the best of the show, condenses it down to about 30 minutes, and produces it pretty much every day. So on behalf of everyone at Free Talk Live, thank you, Riley.
You're welcome. And I like doing the digest because it allows people who don't want to listen to an entire show doing their commute or whatever, they can listen to the digest on their drive or whatever. It's easy to consume.
It's a good alternative. But first, I want to tell you about local.bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods, including PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meet in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for, and use of the site and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. That's local.bitcoin.com.
And look for Pope Nobody.
Pope Nobody, are you actively trading on there?
I'm trading on local.bitcoin.com and also localbitcoins.com.
Cool. I have Bitcoin Cash available through local.bitcoin.com, but it's only in person and only if you're in Keene, New Hampshire, and only if you're coming to my store.
Yeah, see, I mostly do it through Zelly.
Yeah, so a lot of people will do online, and hey, that's the nice thing is you can choose how you want to sell. If you're a seller, how you want to get paid, and some of these types of payments can be higher in risk, and they will demand a higher price. And some things that are really low in risk will be available Bitcoin Cash for a lower price. That's how markets work. Sometimes the seller has to take some risk to provide the service, and the buyers have to pay for that.
Yeah, especially with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. If you want to risk transacting with high risk stuff, you're going to have to pay the price for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Riley, you're from Utah.
That's right.
Where at in Utah are you from?
I'm from the St. George area. It's about 300 miles south and west of Salt Lake, and I'm about a 2-hour drive from Vegas.
So that to us sounds like the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because I've lived in places that were literally the middle of nowhere. So once you get tell me a little bit about Utah. When you get outside of Salt Lake City or Provo, is that the other big town? Are there more big towns I don't know about?
Salt Lake and Provo are the bigger cities in Utah. Northern Utah is more crowded than Southern Utah, I think. I think Southern Utah it's growing a lot faster now. I remember growing up, it was really small, and now it's growing a lot faster. But Southwest Utah, St. George is probably one of the bigger cities in Southern Utah.
Cool. I'm going to find out all about it because my son, he's come up with this scheme where he's now on vacation till he dies. He got into snowboarding, moved up here to New Hampshire, and became a snowboarding instructor. And then he decided he'd like to go to California, so he found a job as a snowboarding instructor at Mammoth Mountain. So he tells me next year it's going to be Utah. So my son will be headed to Utah, and I'll find out where he's settling down. But it'll be somewhere with a lot of snow and snowboarders.
That'll be up in the mountains or northern Utah, that's for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But it's great to have you in here, and it was nice having you in our shop today.
Yeah, for sure. It was nice.
It's just
nice.
good to hear you.
Yeah, it's just really nice being in New Hampshire. New Hampshire is one of my favorite places to be because, a lot of people, especially, out in the United States, they talk about wanting freedom in their lifetime. They talk about wanting to live free and having the availability of, libertarian ideas or even more liberty-oriented ideas in their state or even their local area. But yet here in New Hampshire, it's amazing. There are people who are libertarians, who are wanting to be free in their own personal lives. And it's just amazing to me to be in a place that is more free than anywhere in the United States.
Absolutely. Now, last time you were out here, you had something you wanted to do, and I said I'd be willing to help you do that. And we talked about whether it was legal or whether it was illegal. And the subject was, you're a blind guy.
Right.
You can't see. You're sight impaired. How many fingers am I holding up? See, I get no response from him when I do that.
Right.
But he was interested in going shooting. And I said, sure, let's go shooting. And we went out and we blasted some rounds off of an AR-15 and some handguns and 22s and just had a good day. You had a different idea this time. I'm not sure whose idea it was originally, but what was that thing?
I think we're going to try driving without a license and see what happens.
See, no, I love that. Now, you absolutely could, and it's legal, to go onto private property.
Right.
And get behind the wheel, and I think that's going to be cool.
I think so, too. It's going to be fun.
Better yet, take you out on the road and see if you get pulled over. Join us next week, hopefully, to hear more of the escapades of a blind guy drives in New Hampshire. 855-450-FREE. Give us a call. Do you think this is a good idea of Riley to drive? This is Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's free as in freedom. That's the number you call to get on the air. That's 855-450-3733. I want to hear from you. What do you think of all this gun control talk that is coming out of the mouths of, no, I'm not going to say Democrats, I'm going to say Republicans. What do you think of your president advocating unconstitutional actions? I know it upset a lot of conservatives when Obama did that. Remember this famous line? I've got a pen and I've got a phone. That was Obama's call to do executive actions. Now you have Trump saying things like, and I quote, I like to take the guns first. We'll worry about due process later. That's your president.
That's not how any of this works.
Exactly. Nothing works like that.
But that's how Trump wants it to work. And what do you think about that? I, frankly, am disgusted. I was a lifelong Republican. I was active in the Republican Party for an awfully long time until the Republican Party decided to be the modern conservative version of the Progressive Party. Just doesn't sit well with me. What do you guys think?
I would tend to agree. I think what concerns me about the Trump movement and the people who love Donald Trump is they love Trump because he's not doing what the quote-unquote Democrats are doing. They're so terrified of what the Democrats are doing, what the other side's going to do, that they want to support this guy who could be potentially. He's definitely a statist. I'm gonna be blunt and say that Donald Trump is definitely a statist, but they're so worried about what the Democrats are going to do that they're willing to tolerate statism.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Republicans have always been apologists for statism.
Of course they have.
They've always venerated the state. And I've never understood how they got mistaken for a small government party in the first place. I mean, it can only be by comparison to the Democrats.
Well, in modern times, certainly not. There was a time when Republicans spoke even more fervently of a desire for a small government. It's been a while, but you even going back, let's just talk about the 20th century. You had Teddy Roosevelt. Everybody admires Teddy Roosevelt because, heck, his likeness is on Mount Everest. Mount Rushmore. But he was a progressive. That's what he did. He came up with ways to seize lots of land all across the country because he wanted parks and he wanted them named after him if it could be done.
But Chris, don't you want to protect land? Don't you want to protect the environment?
I do. That's why I oppose government ownership of land. They need to get out of that business. Rich?
Yeah. Anything government does badly. And the parks are just one more example. And I think I'm catching your Lyme disease.
I think if more people would think about, what does government do really well? Go ahead, I'll wait.
Kills people.
They provide health care, don't they?
Not very well.
Not really. I mean, VA healthcare is the most directly government. That's single payer in America, and the people who are getting VA treatment are like blowing their brains out in the lobbies of VA hospitals. So.
Now, people have said that the VA system has gotten better since it really was dying there. I mean, everything was going wrong. It got a lot of press. So they gave it a bunch more money, and the VA system is marginally better now. But that can't be your end solution. When it gets really bad, you're just going to throw more money at it. That doesn't make any economic sense at all.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is when you're doing badly, you're supposed to make less money, and other people are supposed to come in and make more money because you're incompetent, and then you go out of business. It's... The VA failed at its mission. It should have been liquidated in bankruptcy, and the hospitals should have been sold to people who would operate them properly.
People that have the profit motive, who would do the right thing to make more money. I hate to say this, but capitalism actually works, and it's not really. I don't even want to use that word. I'm going to say that
free markets work better.
Free markets do, but incentives work.
Yeah.
Incentives can change your behavior. That's what incentives do. And if you can create positive incentives for people to do a good job, you will get a good job. If their livelihood depends on it, they'll do a better job. But
exactly.
If
someone's livelihood depends on providing you health care, and they do a terrible job of providing you health care, they're going to lose their job because you're not going to go shop with them anymore, or whatever term you want to use.
Exactly. Absolutely. And they also have protections. That's another aspect of government-run systems is you can't sue them. They can do a horrible job, and all they'll do is say, well, evidently you didn't give us enough money. If
or
you want
you
us to do a better job,
politicians in power either.
Right. Team Blue's in charge. You need to put Team Red in charge. Now, they both believe in the same thing, but still, those blue guys...
And they both drive us further into the red with every administration. Trump was supposed to cut back on Obama's insane spending, but Trump's spending's even more insane than Obama's.
He's running a bigger deficit from what I hear.
He is, and that's not going to change. It can't change because he's also decided he wants to play a trade war. He's fighting with the Chinese, and the Chinese announced that they will no longer buy agricultural products from the United States. That's not saying we're not going to buy part of our soybeans anymore from the United States. That's saying we're not going to buy agricultural products, period, from the United States. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what Trump's base does. Probably apologize for him and say, well, can you imagine how much worse it would be if there were a Democrat in there?
Well, actually, this particular problem probably wouldn't exist if a Democrat were in charge, even though it's what they're supposed to believe in. We're supposed to have tariffs and the government's supposed to control all the trade. But in this case, the Democrats are actually on the right side just because Trump happens to be on the wrong side.
Trump has been so bad on free trade. How can you say bad on free trade? He despises free trade. He does nothing to promote free trade. He attacks free trade. That's what Trump does. In the meantime, he raises the costs on every possible item you can imagine on Americans, because this ends up being a tax on Americans. When Trump says, we're gonna start putting an import tax, a tariff on all German cars, that means if you want a German car, it's going to cost you more. It's not going to cost Mercedes-Benz anymore. They're going to make it anyway, and
they're just
going to
pass the tariff price on to you, the consumer. And I think it's going to happen with Apple products and products and electronics made overseas in China coming up with Donald Trump's tariffs, because the price of smartphones and whatnot is going to go higher because of your president's tariffs.
Yeah. And Republicans, I used to be one of you guys. This is on you. Is this what you want? You want massive price increases on virtually every product we import. You want to pay that. Is that what you're saying? While you're saying that gun control is good when Trump does it, but it would have been bad had Obama done it. Bear in mind that Trump has passed much more gun control regulations than Obama ever did. So Trump is the worst president in recent memory on gun control.
Even if you trust Trump with a disarmed population, do you trust the next president with a disarmed population?
That's the slippery slope. That's what we have to get away from. These things can be permanent, like any temporary government program. 855-450-FREE. What do you think? Give me a call. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits, at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. 855-450-3733. Hey, do you accept Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies at your business?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do, as do I. But they're rich. Gosh, I gotta start calling you nobody.
It's true.
Nobody. There are a lot of folks out there that run small businesses that don't accept cryptocurrencies. And I've got a place to send them. It's called helpmetakebitcoin.com. Do you operate a retail business and are you looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to helpmetakebitcoin.com. There is no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just visit helpmetakebitcoin.com and follow the simple steps. Within moments, you'll be accepting cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Dash and Bitcoin Cash and all sorts of other cryptocurrencies at your store. Get started now at helpmetakebitcoin.com. That's helpmetakebitcoin.com. I can't tell you how happy I am. It's not to say that it's been smooth. All things in crypto are all relatively new.
Right.
And bugs pop up once in a while, but it's been pretty good, and the support's been excellent. I have not experienced a problem with that in at least a year. It just works. I get somebody who comes in, they can choose what cryptocurrency they want to pay with, and they scan the barcode, and I get paid. I got paid twice today with cryptocurrencies, and that's it's not a frequent thing. Yeah, I'm not going to kid anybody and tell me your business will go up 90% if you accept Bitcoin Cash or Dash or something like that.
But somebody will come into your shop if you're accepting crypto and say, hey, I'm happy you're accepting crypto. This is really cool.
That does happen, and I call it crypto tourism. We get those people that are just so thrilled that sometimes they've sought us out because they see online that we accept cryptocurrency. And I think it's a pleasure to see people doing it. That means that acceptance is happening. And,
Keene has more bricks and mortar businesses per capita, I think, than any other city in America taking
I
Bitcoin
think you're
and
right.
Bitcoin Cash.
It's always neck and neck in the worldwide totals for per capita between us and Portsmouth. You're going there tomorrow, Riley?
I'm actually going to Portsmouth on Monday.
Gotcha.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to... The thing I like about New Hampshire, especially Keene, is I can spend cryptocurrency here. I can spend cryptocurrency to buy my food. I can spend cryptocurrency to pay for lodging if I want to.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of New Hampshire. In Utah, I can't do that. And I do have cryptocurrency, and I would love to be able to spend it. I'd love to be able to buy cryptocurrency. I'd love to be able to sell it, but mostly I like being able to spend it at a brick and mortar store because that to me is just really cool.
Yeah. And this area is somewhat unusual in how many places we have that accept. And you'll find more places. Well, you'll try to find more places in a bigger population. Let's say you go to San Francisco. There's going to be probably more places that accept cryptocurrency than Keene, New Hampshire, where we broadcast the show from. But you won't find more per capita. You're not going to just be walking down Market Street in San Francisco and be amazed that there's a place that accepts crypto and there's a place. What you get that in Keene, New Hampshire. It's we should have a walking tour. Nobody. That's what you should do. A walking tour of Keene crypto.
Nobody thinks that's a good idea.
It's going to be so much fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd be down.
So Nancy Pelosi is urging Trump to, quote, use the Constitution to force the Senate action on guns. So let's break down this sentence. Use the Constitution to force Senate action on guns. That's unconstitutional. Every gun law that has been written since I'm going to go back to 1789. Every single law is unconstitutional. The Second Amendment is one of the clearest possible amendments that was ever written. The rights of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. What does infringed mean? Anybody? Bueller?
Interfered with, I imagine.
Interfered with, that's a good way of putting it. Put a hamper on it, keep someone from being able to do it. Infringed, there's no softer word for infringed. You can't say, well, I want to say infringed, but I want something that sounds less. There isn't. It's just don't do it. It's like the First Amendment, which says that Congress shall pass no law, right?
Abridging freedom of speech, religion, or anything like it.
Yeah, it's that clear. The second is no less clear than the First Amendment. Yep. Yet we have people that believe that, well, you can just do away with that one.
And we have people saying that about the First Amendment, too, now.
That's true.
Saying that, we should abridge the right of people to speak if it is some sort of nebulously defined hate speech.
Right.
And I hate people that say that. And I have a right to say I hate people who say that.
Yes, and most hate speech I find abhorrent.
Mostly I hate the stuff.
Yeah, and that's your right, but it's also their right to say it. This is why people go, how did the Supreme Court ever back up the Ku Klux Klan? Well, the First Amendment's pretty clear. You can't make a law that says you can't do something that abridges freedom of speech or freedom of religion or things like that.
Now, I'm sure, like you, I find the KKK to be distasteful, but distasteful does not mean I have the right to abridge their speech. Or, on my private property, I could, but I do not have the right to go to Congress and say, you need to restrict the KKK speech because it's abhorrent.
Right.
That's very much unconstitutional. Now, of course, their speech is very distasteful and is not something I want to entertain. I personally think they're disgusting human beings. The KKK racism is not something I support at all. I don't support racism at all.
I'm going to go to the phones where we've got Evan calling from Maryland. He wants to talk about cryptocurrency. Evan, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
I'm from New Orleans. I don't know where that came from, but
from our call screener who got that one wrong. My apologies. So what's on your mind?
That's okay. No problem. No problem. Hey, first off, before I begin, the guy with the big beard, I can't catch her name. What is it?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Oh, nobody. Well, still nobody. You're by far my favorite.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. So anyway, that aside, like you guys keep talking about cryptocurrency and stuff like everybody uses it. I just would like to promote some times where cryptocurrency isn't the best method. For example, I tried to pay my taxes with it last year. It didn't work. Tried to get out of a speeding ticket and told the judge I can pay him in Bitcoin. Didn't work. My wife doesn't take it.
You have to pay your wife, bro?
$1,000 on the poker table. Yeah, for certain things. Like, I mean, he says all services are not free, regardless if she married me, which wasn't in the contract.
Right.
But still, on the poker table, can't take it. If you lose, a college football or NFL weekend, guess what? Your bookie's not taking it. There's a lot of drawbacks to it. And I'm just telling you, cash is still king.
You're
That's
right.
my only point, man.
I agree with you on that. And cryptocurrency is young, and not every business accepts it. And I don't know of a bookie that accepts cryptocurrency, but they could.
There's plenty of internet gambling sites.
Oh, that's true. Yes. So yeah.
But I want to know the guy that I'm putting my bet down with. Even if it's not real money and I can't come up with it if I lose. Like I still want to know the guy who's going to send the guy to whip my ass. Like that's always important to me.
Well, personal service is important, and anytime you're dealing with customer service, that personal touch makes a difference.
Amen. I want to look.
Go ahead.
I had to call you guys. Y'all have a good night.
Hey, thanks for the call,
All right,
Evan.
peace, man.
Rich has a fan. That's good.
I got a lot of fans.
I know you do. Rich, I sit over here. I watch the chat rooms and stuff like that, and people rave about you. But we're going to be back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what Pelosi wants Trump to do, other than, quote, use the Constitution to force the Senate action on guns. Unconstitutional or not, that's what she wants. 855 450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Wouldn't it be nice to wake up in the morning whenever you want and work and play whenever you felt like it? Date women under your terms instead of society's? Be a completely free man and live a completely free life? You can live this way. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
There are basically 2 types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,497, silver at $17.06, and Bitcoin is trading around $11,887. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, child sex trafficking victim Centonia Brown was released from prison Wednesday. A development welcomed by human rights advocates who said her case underscores the need to fix the nation's criminal justice system. Now 31 years old, Brown was originally sentenced to life in prison for killing one of the men who solicited her for sex when she was a 16-year-old child. The Mind Unleashed reports that in January, then-Governor Bill Haslam of Tennessee commuted her sentence following pressure from human rights groups, thousands of Americans who signed petitions and wrote letters, and celebrities who helped bring attention to her case. Brown spent more than 14 years behind bars. Brown, in a statement, said she looks forward to using, quote, my experiences to help other women and girls suffering abuse and exploitation, end quote. Though now out of prison, Brown is still under state control. She will be on parole for 10 years. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A 13-year-old boy was seriously injured after a man attacked him for not removing his hat during the national anthem at a county fair and rodeo in Montana, resulting in a fractured skull for the young boy. The Mind Unleashed reports that 39-year-old Kurt James Brockway launched his assault on the boy out of a belief that the boy had supposedly disrespected the national anthem. That's according to the Missoulian. The man was arrested and charged with assault on a minor for the attack that occurred at the Mineral County Fair and Rodeo. Taylor Hennick, a rodeo attendee, said she had just paused for the national anthem before hearing a sudden pop and then noticed a child bleeding out of his ears, seizing on the ground. As outraged bystanders quickly began surrounding Brockway, the man attempted to justify the assault by saying that, quote, the boy was disrespecting the national anthem by wearing this hat, end quote. The boy was airlifted for hospital treatment in Washington, where he received treatment for temporal skull fractures. The rapid and dangerous decline of the insect population in the United States, often called an insect apocalypse by scientists, has largely been driven by an increase in the toxicity of U.S. agriculture caused by the use of pesticides. That's according to a study published Tuesday. The study found that American agriculture has become 48 times more toxic to insects over the past 25 years and pinned 92% of the toxicity increase on the pesticides, which were banned by the European Union last year, due to the threat they pose to bees and other pollinators. The Mind Unleashed reports that Kendra Klein, Ph.D., study co-author and senior staff scientist at Friends of the Earth, said the United States must follow Europe's lead and ban the toxic pesticides before it's too late. According to National Geographic, they attack the central nervous system of insects, causing overstimulation of their nerve cells, paralysis, and death. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Well, it's the end of an era and the beginning of a new one.
Today, Pennington's black part of town moved across the river to North Pennington. The Thompson family sold their home on the east side and moved to the old Kirkland Place at 17 Mansfield Place, establishing the all-new black neighborhood. Northside residents are looking forward to the infusion of fun and funk that the new black part of town is sure to bring to their area. Mayor Mitzi Kranowis presided over the dedication of the new black neighborhood, unveiling a sign designating it a landmark district.
It's lovely, everyone. Pennington's diversity is its strength, whether it's Little Harlem or the so-called Gayborhood, where Paul and his partner Bryant have that cottage.
Sheriff Stevens today announced that the heavy round-the-clock patrols that helped make the old Thompson house one of the safest neighborhoods in town will move with them.
This has nothing to do with the black part of town moving here. We just want to make sure that everyone here has a comfortable place to live.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. Thank you for joining us for what is our hour number 2, because we do 3 hours of this every day, 365 days a year.
Thanksgiving, Christmas. We're live on the air.
It's fun, and we like doing it. We like taking your calls, and I've got open phones. That means you can change the subject. You don't have to talk about what we're talking about. Bring up a new subject if it's of interest to you. The we in studio is myself, Chris.
Riley.
And nobody.
And Riley brought in, and see, the guy just shows up for, he's here from Utah. He works with the show all the time, and he brought in stories, and that's what we like. But I thought this one was kind of interesting. It's comes to us from Ars Technica. Dominoes is taking its case for a non-accessible design, and specifically they're talking about their web design, to the Supreme Court. And Riley, can you summarize what's going on? I know a little bit about this story.
So I know a little bit about this story too, and basically the problem is Domino's has an inaccessible website for screen reading technology. For those who aren't aware, blind people cannot obviously see the screen, and they don't rely on sighted people to help them all the time. And so they have software that they can either install on their computer or built into their computer if it's a Mac that will actually read the screen to you. And Domino's does not have an accessible website. In fact, I saw one person tweeting about how they had to call a number for Domino's if they wanted to order from the website, which to me, I want to see more accessibility in the world because I'm blind. I want to be able to access everything that a sighted person can access, but it gets problematic when it's not accessible.
Yeah, it does. The shift towards using an app on your phone to place an order instead of using your phone to call a place has made life easier for millions of people. Unfortunately, that shift has the opposite effect on blind and visually impaired consumers, for whom thousands of websites and mobile apps are unusable. Domino's Pizza maintains one such site.
That doesn't make anything less accessible to them than it was before there was a website and a phone, because if you call Domino's number, they'll pick up the phone.
Right.
But here's the thing, though, nobody. I still want to be able to use the app no matter what.
Well, I agree with you, and it would be great if everybody had that. But, not every mom and pop pizza shop has the money, and it can significantly increase the cost of a website to make it accessible. And not every mom and pop website should have to do that. And having used Domino's interface and being a programmer, it's a really beautiful interface for ordering a pizza, which if you haven't done it online, it's very difficult. And as a programmer, I can say it would be extraordinarily difficult to make that site accessible. to a screen reading technology. Now,
yeah, but Rich, come on. I'm sorry, nobody. Hey, we're talking Dominoes. We're not talking about, Joe's Pizza Place down the corner. Shouldn't they be required to spend the money, to it's compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, which is like 30 years old.
It still should not be required. I think it's good if they produce an interface that's usable by everybody. But should it be required? No, there's no.
This is where I would agree with nobody, because I don't think it should be required. It would be great. It would be great if I could access everything else that you can in the world. But this is where it gets tricky for me, because I would definitely want to access everything I can access, but I do not want to force it on somebody at gunpoint. And that's what governments do. They force things to happen at gunpoint. And when people have this force on them at gunpoint, they may be too afraid to try anything because they may do it wrong and they're going to get their butts sued.
Absolutely.
The democracy is peer pressure with a gun to your head.
That's basically it. Domino's Pizza maintains one such site, meaning a sort of a legacy site, a site that doesn't have, it's not easily accessible to screen reading software. But it's asking the Supreme Court to let the site stay that way. Domino's made a legal filing called a writ of certiorari. Thank you, Rich. And to the United States Supreme Court last week, basically an argument.
Actually, they made an application for a writ of certiorari, and the Supreme Court grants certiorari if they agree to hear the case.
Correct. So they have made the argument that they should be heard, and basically an argument for why the nation's highest court should take the case. In the petition, there's a link to the PDF in this Ars Technica story. Domino's asked the court to determine whether the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, requires a retailer's website or app to, quote, satisfy discrete accessibility requirements with respect to individuals with disabilities, unquote. Websites and mobile apps do not become public accommodations simply by virtue of providing access to goods and services of a brick-and-mortar enterprise, unquote, the pizza chain argues. The ADA, quote, does not demand full accessibility for each and every means of accessing the goods and services a public accommodation provides to the public, unquote. As courts have split on the digital accessibility issue several times in the past 2 decades, Domino's said the time is ripe for Supreme Court intervention. What do you guys think? Is the time ripe for the government to keep in mind the Supreme Court is part of the federal government. When they do things, they have the effect of law, even though they are just interpreting law, but they can basically legislate.
This is where I'm really divided as a libertarian. It's because I like accessibility, as I mentioned earlier, but forcing companies to make something accessible for me just doesn't sound like a good idea. I think there's got to be some reasonable ways to handle this rather than forcing a company to make something usable for a blind person.
Yeah, and part of the problem is that, as I understand it, I mean, it would be relatively simple to make a facsimile of Domino's website that was much easier to navigate for a blind person than actually literally transposing Domino's website into it. I think so. As a programmer, to me, it's like, no, don't try and add all those hooks to that weird, elaborate piece of software that you wrote. Create something that's designed for use by the visually impaired.
Yeah.
That is also an idea that could work, but blind people will say, well, we don't want something that's separate. We want to have the same experience that everyone else has.
By default, blind people have trouble seeing where the average person does not have trouble seeing. You're going to have a different experience.
Right.
That's just how it works. But this is a case where, and this all started with a lawsuit from a blind person in California. who tried at least twice to order a pizza from Domino's using its website and app, but the customer was unable to complete the transaction. So, if you're going to live by the government rules, one of the government rules is the ADA, and that says you have to provide your services. I agree. Providing something that is functional doesn't need to include everything about a pizza.
Right.
I've seen the choices on Domino's. There's a lot of choices, but you could navigate those on a very plain website.
Mm-hmm. And it would be, it would be nice if more companies did maintain like plain text versions of their site for people who are on mobile, for people who are on who are visually impaired, for machines to read and understand maybe. But I wouldn't require any of those things.
There's a lot of benefits to it to the company, which basically means you get to sell more pizzas if you make some small investments. $8.55, $4.50 free. What do you think? This is Free Talk Live.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means, stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin, but imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855 450 free. That's free as in freedom, free as in Free Talk Live. 855 450 3733. In studio, it's myself, Chris.
Riley.
And nobody.
So it's interesting. Riley Blake joins us. He's a friend of the show. He does our daily digest for us. He's out here in New Hampshire for a vacation. The rest of us are working. He comes here for a vacation.
I'm actually working at the same time, but
I know. And he came in to volunteer to spend the evening with us, and that's all pretty cool.
Free Talk Live. Free Talk Live is one of my favorite shows.
Well, you're our favorite producer of Daily Digest.
Well, good.
I've got to say that.
Yeah, for sure.
I've never met anyone else who produces a Daily Digest that I like more than Riley Blake.
Good. Good.
And he also produces a top-notch podcast, Anarcho Agenda.
Yep.
And you can, where can people find that?
They can find it at anarchoagenda.libsyn.com. That's ANARCHO agenda.libsyn.com.
And we've been talking about this story from Ars Technica about people who are blind. There is at least a gentleman, I believe it's a gentleman in California, who wants to order a pizza using the fancy Dominoes app, where it shows your oven, your pizza is being prepared by Bob, and now it's being baked by Joe, and Amanda is going to deliver it in 15 minutes. It's pretty cool. Has some really cool features. The question is does this fall under the ADA? Do companies have to provide every feature to everyone equally, and to compensate for people that can't use the regular app? And that's, I think, an important question. What I do question is whether this is any business of the government's or not. I think it should be up to Domino's whether they want a larger market share.
Exactly, and I think it's got to stay with the business.
They're the ones that are going to have to pay the price. Now, that's not even true, because if Domino's is forced to implement all these changes, Domino's Pizza is going to go up. It may not be a lot. They may even eat the cost, but at some point they're going to recoup their money. They're a business, and they're not in the business of spending millions of dollars in development to satisfy the needs of a few. Now, Riley, here's a good question.
Is there a phone app, Riley, that you could use to order a pizza? Is that what would the interface to that? How would that work?
See, I've never used the phone app to order pizza, so I couldn't tell you for sure.
Do you normally just call the phone number or call the place? And
if I'm going to order a pizza, I'm going to call the business, because I'd rather talk to a person than order it on a website or an app. That's just me.
Yeah. And a lot of people use the app for no reason other than it's cool.
Right.
And you can watch the progress of your pizza being made. Now, if you call on the phone, as nobody pointed out, you're going to get a live human being who's going to take your order and get your pizza prepared and delivered. It's no difference. Functionally, in the end, you are stuffing your face with pizza.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to go to, where are we going? Going to the phones, where we've got Nick. He's watching us on Twitch. Nick, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
So I wanted to talk about the 3D printer and 3D printing guns.
Okay.
We're listening.
So do you have any...
So I couldn't understand you there. You're calling about Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump talking about seizing guns. Is that correct?
No, 3D printing guns.
Oh, 3D printing guns. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm a fan of it. I don't think people right now it's legal to produce your own firearm. You can make your own gun. I think I've seen them. I haven't shot one yet, but there's nothing wrong with doing something that's legal and that's protected by the Second Amendment. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
I think a lot of people out there don't really understand the technology of 3D printing and the limitations there are on 3D printed guns. So it's not like you can just, load a plan into my 3D printer and I'm going to come out with something from Halo and be able to do all sorts of amazing things. 3D guns are mostly made out of plastic. Now, most companies include in their plans, Defense Distributed does, a spot that you have to put something metal or the gun won't fire. That's intended to satisfy government regulations. It's a piece of metal there, so it will go off should it go through a metal detector. And without that piece of metal at that point, the gun will not work. That's how a lot of them are designed.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Well, and it's not that people couldn't come up with ways around that, but that was some people saying, okay, the government's going to come down on us 10 times as hard if you're allowed to easily get this thing onto an airplane, for example.
So you better have guns you can easily get onto an airplane if the government's going to go to war with you. Maybe not easily onto an airplane, but maybe into a congressional hearing. I mean, that's where you go if you want to overthrow the government.
I don't know if violence is the best thing to do to overthrow a government, though, nobody.
The bottom line is if and when whatever it is we're doing to overthrow the current order, when it becomes a threat to them, I believe they will be very happy to fire the first shots against us.
Well, they wouldn't. They wouldn't hesitate at all. So, Nick, what do you think? Should 3D printed guns be detectable if you get onto an airplane? Should that be a requirement too?
Well, yeah, because what if a terrorist made a 3D printed gun and then he snuck it onto an airplane?
That's a good point. And
what if when he got on that airplane, it turned out everybody had one?
What do you have to say to that? What do you think of that idea? That they get on the airplane, the mean, nasty terrorist whips out his gun and starts jammering in his native tongue, and 20 other passengers stand up and point their guns at him.
Turns out the Swiss rifle team happens to be flying with their weapons.
I guess my concern is that if we have this law that says, okay, terrorists are not allowed to bring a 3D printed gun on an airplane, terrorists don't care what the law is. They'll do it whether we want them to or not. But the people that will obey the law would be those are the ones that won't have guns and won't be armed to stop them. Nick, thanks for the call.
The people who obeyed the law were the ones who didn't have box cutters on 9/11.
That's true.
Exactly. 855-450-FREE. We're talking 3D printed guns. Should there be any restriction on creating your own means to save your own life? This is Free Talk Live.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
A new medical study on the effects of marijuana use confirms that everyone knows you're high and that you'll never stop feeling like this.
Everyone can smell the marijuana on your breath and on your clothes. Everyone is laughing at you.
Additionally, the in-depth report reveals that despite trying to act cool, you're definitely laughing too much and everyone is messing with you.
Your parents know you're high. Your friends know you're high. Strangers on the street know you're high. If you're young and you smoke marijuana, you will probably never be able to find a job. And if you're an adult, you will most likely be fired. If you hear a noise, that's probably the police, and you're probably going to jail.
While previous studies suggested that it's all good and that we're all made of the same stuff that makes stars, new research indicates that your brain got broken and you shouldn't have done this. Doctors say the study raises important questions such as, what if that wasn't just marijuana and how are you going to get home?
This is the Onion News Network.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's free as in freedom, 855-450-3733. You can also hook up with us on the show with Discord. Discord is a seriously cool app. You can load it on your phone. You can load it on your tablet. You can load it on your laptop. It doesn't matter. And it's available on almost every possible platform you can imagine, Mac, iOS, Android, Windows, Linux. Use your high-speed internet connection with your high-quality microphone, and you will sound like you're right here in the studio with us. The us in studio is myself, Chris.
Riley.
And nobody.
And we've been talking about this case that Dominoes is, I guess, going to the Supreme Court and asking for them to listen to this case about and I'm going to get into the why, a blind consumer in California tried at least twice to order a pizza from Domino's using its website and app, but the customer was unable to complete the transaction because Domino's services were not designed to be accessible to the blind. In 2016, he filed suit against the pizza delivery chain, alleging a violation of the ADA, or Americans with Disabilities Act. And the ADA is a piece of legislation. I think the article said it was written about 30 years ago, but it does things like says, buildings, if they are a public government building, they have to have a handicap ramp, for example.
Or signs have to be in Braille. Now, this is presenting a problem because I've run into ATM machines that have a keypad in Braille. Fine. Have a keypad in Braille, but it's still inaccessible to me because I can't read the screen.
Right. And what does that do? And for those of you just joining us, we're joined by Riley Blick. He does Free Talk Live's Daily Digest, and he is visually impaired.
Or blind, as I like to be called, whatever.
I prefer visually impaired, so you need to accept the words that I use, Riley. It's not about, no, it is about you, and people should be treated with respect, and that's it. Do we need the force of government to make things equal? And Riley, unsurprising, because I know Riley, has taken the position that, businesses should not be held at the point of a gun to tell them to redesign their website. I think, personally, Domino's is missing out on some pizza orders by making a website and an app, and this is just and nobody brought this up too. It's a gorgeous app, but it's very hard to use with devices that aren't just a high-end Android phone or a high-end iOS device. A lot of people have older computers. That's still a thing. What do they do? What if my computer doesn't support Flash or whatever they're doing with their animations?
Then it presents a problem for you to access it, for sure.
Yeah, see, and one of the problems of requiring everybody to produce, for example, a website that is amenable to blind people is it takes away the incentive for that one company to really go the extra mile and do it right, and have the entire blind population of the United States say, hey, I'm doing business with these guys because they do such a good job at accommodating us.
And I think you make a great point is we want to have companies incentivized to provide something for us instead of forcing them to do it at gunpoint. I think it'd be great to see that happen, and there are companies that do that.
It seems like there should be some sort of an open source solution where you could, basically a browser designed for the blind that would that would allow people to put out maybe a simplified version of their website that could then be broadcast more, or that could be then presented in the way most amenable to people. I wonder if there's a way to do that and to share the code across
that's
multiple companies.
It's an interesting idea, but at the same time, you're going to have the comments from disabled people, blind people. Oh, we get a separate but equal website. That's like having a separate but equal drinking fountain under segregation with the blacks.
Yeah, I understand that. Do you think this is just asking about the blind community that you can't represent every blind person, but do you find that a lot of blind people are sort of that mindset? I don't want separate but equal. This isn't Jim Crow. Blind people.
Do you know a lot of blind people who are like that?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, so are they likely to be not thrilled with any possible solution Domino's comes up with?
Some people would not be. I personally would be thrilled with any solution they can come up with that's workable. I just want to be able to use your crazy app and your crazy website to order a pizza.
Mm-hmm. Right. Be able to navigate to a website that you could actually understand. So have you tried going to Domino's website?
I have not. I've thought about it, but I have not done it yet.
That's interesting. And maybe we'll try that on the next break to see using the technology. And Riley, you got some cool tech. He's got reader programs. It's amazing to listen to him check, messages from Telegram or from other instant messaging or emails or things like that, right, because Riley's trained himself to speed listen, for lack of a better word.
So for those who don't know, let me explain what I'm using. I have an iPhone. I have an iPhone 7, and it uses a program called VoiceOver, which is built into Apple's iPhone. VoiceOver is a great piece of technology because you'll read the text on the screen. And like Chris said, I can listen to that pretty fast. And it's really great because I can go through books quickly. I can, read things really quickly and get the information because I've trained myself and my brain to do it. Now, other people, when they hear that, they're like, oh my gosh, that's so fast. How do you understand it?
It's insanely fast. But you've trained yourself to do that. Exactly. You took it upon yourself to do it because you want to be. I'm sure there are blind people out there that listen at normal speed.
Yeah, or even slower than normal.
Right. But that just happens to be one thing he's trained himself to do, and he's very good at it. But I guess that's...
What was the regime that you used to train yourself to do that? Because that sounds like a useful skill. And is it something that you started in childhood?
It's something I started in childhood. I don't know if I had a specific regime that I tried,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely remember starting it in childhood and learning how to listen to things at warp speed.
Thank you for saying that. I wasn't sure if you'd be offended by the term warp speed, but man, it's blazing. And I know that he's, I'll hear it's almost like a zzz, and that was like, a 4-page email.
Yeah, see, I listen to, if I listen to a TED Talk or something, I will almost always listen to it at double speed.
Yes.
Just because the pauses irritate me. People are... I had the same problem in school where it was I wanted to tell the teacher, if you just speed up a little bit, I would listen to you, but you're boring the hell out of me.
Right. But that's certainly a useful skill. But back to Domino's, it seems like they could come up with a more accessible website for people that use readers. And
I think so too. I think Domino's could definitely do something to help the blind community rather than having a lawsuit filed against them. And this is the point I want to get across to the listeners, is that this world is not made for a blind person. It's hard for a blind person to function.
Are there restaurants whose websites you could use to order? Is anybody doing this well?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I'd have to look into that.
I'm sure there are. What do you think? Should Domino's be forced by government to make accommodations to serve the blind community? I think they should do it on their own. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-301-5435. That's 800-301.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's free as in freedom. 855-450-3733. That's our number. That's the number you call if you want to get on the air, if you want to talk about what we're talking about. And we're talking about this potential lawsuit. It's certainly a case before the Supreme Court, and I don't think they have indicated they are going to hear it, but Dominoes has asked the Supreme Court to hear this case brought by a gentleman in California who happens to be blind, who wants a ruling that says Domino's must reproduce the Domino's app or their website so he can order pizza. And the discussion is really about, number one, should government force businesses to provide all the services regardless of the platform of how you order something. So Domino's today, they've got a phone line. Nobody pointed out you can pick up the phone and you can. Riley, you have done this. You have ordered a pizza by phone.
I don't know if I've necessarily ordered pizza. I don't know if I've done that yet.
You've ordered other
I've
things.
ordered food over the phone, calling to somebody, because I would rather call somebody and talk to them, so I know my order is getting right, rather than trusting an app to make sure it's going to get submitted and everything else.
Right. And that's important too.
Yeah.
But this idea that all businesses should have to provide under the American with Disabilities Act, provide all the features, the bells and whistles, if you will, for a given app. And coming up with an app is a little different than saying we need to have a ramp so I can get my wheelchair into this building. It's development, and there's all sorts of disabilities. I'm trying to think of what other disabilities might be out there that would make it difficult for a person to use Domino's website.
Autism might be one of those because there might be too much visual information and it might be overstimulating and it might be problematic for them to use an app.
Right. And I guess that expands to, okay, does that mean that every business must be required under the ADA to come up with a version of their website that is not overly stimulating for people with autism and must be I have to provide you all the services that a sighted person could to a blind person. And that's potentially a lot of development money. I understand what businesses are saying.
And at some point you have to wonder, okay, if you want a screen reader for your TDD machine, or for your TTD machine, which is teletype for the deaf, then it's, there comes a time when it doesn't necessarily make sense to accommodate all disabilities on all channels. To me, it makes a lot more. An applet interface makes a lot more sense for a deaf person than for a blind person.
Sure.
Whereas a sound-based interface makes more sense to me for a blind person than a deaf person, because
obviously,
I mean, to me, it's as a programmer, it's like most of the programs I've written run on a console, and they couldn't possibly be operated by a blind person.
Right.
We're going to go to the phones where we've got Katie calling in from Utah. Katie, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, I just wanted to comment on the show. So I don't think that it necessarily should be reinforced by the government. I think it's good for businesses as far as marketability and getting more business and being more modern and diverse in what they have to offer, and, just expanding clientele in that regard. Especially with our 20th century, everything is going to that. We have like Lyft and Uber that does like Uber and Lyft Eats, and you have a lot of restaurants that are starting to adapt, just offering food delivery and things like that. So I think as keeping up in a competitive day and age and market, that they'd be smart to go that way. But I don't think it should be so extreme as far as having federal hands in it and having the government involved, or having it be a part of, say, like the Disability Act. Whereas other functionalities of things like the Disability Act, making sure there's an interpreter, making sure that you have ramps for certain disabilities and things like that, that makes sense to me. But yeah, those are my thoughts and comments.
Excellent.
That's good, and I appreciate the phone call. So again, it would be a great. I look at this because I'm just basically a guy who runs a small business, and I look at angles. How can I sell more stuff? But I look at this and I see this is a tremendous opportunity for Domino's. Rich, and you're a programmer, to design a website that would be friendly to blind people, and to have a website that can detect whether a visitor has certain software or not, wouldn't be that tough, and they could do some stuff.
I mean, I don't know. It can be. It's hard for me. If somebody asked me as a programmer, I want you to write a system whereby blind people can use an applet to order a pizza, I'd put one button on the applet, and if you push it, it would get you an operator on the phone who would then take your order, just because that's the easiest. It's the most straightforward. The most straightforward way to deliver information by audio is to start out with audio information.
See, Riley, that's why me as a business would never talk to the programmer. Give me your consultant. He'll just say, okay, we'll do that. It's going to cost you a little bit more.
But see, for me, I would like to order things over the phone, but at the same time, I think it's nice to have an app.
It would be nice, and I think more and more companies. So let me ask you this, Riley. I mean, is the blind community, when they find out about a website that made some accommodation for people that, are can't see, Does word get around quick?
It does, especially with Twitter.
I bet. So is Twitter the preferred social media for blind people?
It actually is, because it's more text-based. Facebook's very image-based, but Twitter is very text-based. So yeah, you can post images to Twitter, but at the same time, it's very text-based.
Interesting.
Echo.
We lost her. I could see how that would be, and I'm wondering when Facebook is going to get hit with a ADA complaint and lawsuit for not producing all of their content in a way that blind people, following this model, blind people could experience all that is Facebook.
So what's interesting about Facebook right now is they are doing something really interesting with their photos. They're providing some photo descriptions. Like, for example, if a photo comes up in my newsfeed, I'm going to be told this image contains text, or this image contains a person or two people or whatever.
Interesting.
But it doesn't describe the people. There are apps out there that I could download the picture and have the app pull up the picture, but that just takes time, and I don't want to take my time to just go through a picture.
Riley, I can see my newsfeed. You don't want that app. If they offer that to you, you just want to say, no, thank you. I'm good with things.
Yeah.
I think I might even download that app just so it'll just make me not have to look at it.
Right.
So this thing like looks at pictures and describes what it sees?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I just have all sorts of images floating through my head of strange things that I could feed to this program.
Oh no, that could be really terrible.
How could this
It
go
really
wrong?
could.
Wow.
Parties on both sides of this and several previous lawsuits have pointed out that the law is unclear. The ADA doesn't have any specific provisions dealing with websites or mobile storefronts because it became law in the long ago era of 1990 before such services existed. So should this be updated? Should some
It
clarity?
should be repealed when we burn down the government.
That's not a bad idea.
You want to burn down the government, nobody? That's going to be a little violent there, but okay.
Well, sooner or later.
Nobody is of the opinion that at some point, and maybe you already believe this, that government has gone too far, that there is no getting our rights back, and that it will take something big to happen before we ever stand a chance of being free.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of images of police brutality where I really wish somebody would come up and kick that cop in the face.
We are going to come back for hour number 3 because we do 3 hours every night. This is Free Talk Live.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
What good is living in a free society if you don't live a free life? Are you able to do whatever you really want to do? Being stuck in a job or difficult business? Or being locked into a relationship with a woman you might like, but you're not free to do what you want? I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create location-independent income and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,497, silver at $17.06, and Bitcoin is trading around $11,887. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, child sex trafficking victim Centonia Brown was released from prison Wednesday. A development welcomed by human rights advocates who said her case underscores the need to fix the nation's criminal justice system. Now 31 years old, Brown was originally sentenced to life in prison for killing one of the men who solicited her for sex when she was a 16-year-old child. The Mind Unleashed reports that in January, then Governor Bill Haslam of Tennessee commuted her sentence following pressure from human rights groups, thousands of Americans who signed petitions and wrote letters, and celebrities who helped bring attention to her case. Brown spent more than 14 years behind bars. Brown, in a statement, said she looks forward to using, quote, my experiences to help other women and girls suffering abuse and exploitation, end quote. Though now out of prison, Brown is still under state control. She will be on parole for 10 years. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A 13-year-old boy was seriously injured after a man attacked him for not removing his hat during the national anthem at a county fair and rodeo in Montana, resulting in a fractured skull for the young boy. The Mind Unleashed reports that 39-year-old Kurt James Brockway launched his assault on the boy out of a belief that the boy had supposedly disrespected the national anthem. That's according to the Missoulian. The man was arrested and charged with assault on a minor for the attack that occurred at the Mineral County Fair and Rodeo. Taylor Hennick, a rodeo attendee, said she had just paused for the national anthem before hearing a sudden pop and then noticed a child bleeding out of his ears, seizing on the ground. As outraged bystanders quickly began surrounding Brockway, the man attempted to justify the assault by saying that, quote, the boy was disrespecting the national anthem by wearing this hat, end quote. The boy was airlifted for hospital treatment in Washington, where he received treatment for temporal skull fractures. The rapid and dangerous decline of the insect population in the United States, often called an insect apocalypse by scientists, has largely been driven by an increase in the toxicity of U.S. agriculture caused by the use of pesticides. That's according to a study published Tuesday. The study found that American agriculture has become 48 times more toxic to insects over the past 25 years and pinned 92% of the toxicity increase on the pesticides, which were banned by the European Union last year, due to the threat they pose to bees and other pollinators. The Mind Unleashed reports that Kendra Klein, Ph.D., study co-author and senior staff scientist at Friends of the Earth, said the United States must follow Europe's lead and ban the toxic pesticides before it's too late. According to National Geographic, they attack the central nervous system of insects, causing overstimulation of their nerve cells, paralysis, and death. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
People are saying it could be a baby bump. Our senior celebrity correspondent, Tyler, is here. Tyler, you always have the inside dish. What's the deal?
She looks like she got fat, so she might have a baby in her tummy.
Oh? What else have you heard?
I heard she has a boyfriend, and they have sex.
That's right. You know, the Hollywood couple vacationed in Rome together just 2 months ago.
They had a big hotel room, and I can tell you what they did in it.
Spill it, Tyler.
He put his in her.
Hot. She is one lucky gal.
And she's going crazy.
Uh-oh. Is stardom starting to wear on Emma?
Yeah, she's crazy and dumb. She put a carrot in her.
Whoa. Do tell.
Yeah, she said, oh, this carrot's like my boyfriend's. I'm gonna rub it all over my. I'm so gross. Then she ate it like Bugs Bunny.
What a hot mess. Hey, Emma, get it together, girl. Tyler, you are breaking news as always.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, hour number 3. 855-450-3733. That's our toll-free number. That's the number you can call in and get on the radio. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's myself, Chris.
Riley.
And nobody.
Riley joining us from the great state of Utah.
Out in the desert.
Oh, well, no, it's okay. Mitch, I, for a moment there, I was having another Lyme disease moment. And associating Mitch McConnell with Utah, that doesn't make any sense. No. Who was the famous Republican senator from Utah?
Orrin Hatch is a pretty famous
Orrin Hatch. That's who I was thinking of. Yes.
No. He's not well liked in many quarters of Utah.
Interesting. We have been talking about this question of whether Domino's should be forced to make their app and their website ADA compliant. Specifically, a potential pizza customer in California who happens to be blind found that the website and the app just are not friendly to the blind. And we've had an interesting conversation and an interesting analysis of this issue, thanks to Riley Blake, because he's a blind guy.
And it's nice to have a blind person in the studio when you can talk about this. I mean, I could have called in on Discord, but we can actually take a whole segment or 2 or 3 to talk about it.
Yeah,
and I'm here.
And he offers an interesting. Now, nobody. On the other hand, you are sighted. You can see me. You can tell how many fingers I'm holding up. But Rich takes a look at it from a programmer's point of view. How much effort would be involved? Or are there some other ways Domino's could do this that would satisfy some of the needs of a blind person? Riley points out that, that's not what a lot of blind people are looking for. They don't want to be separate but equal, to borrow a line from Jim Crow days. They don't want to be forced to drink at Domino's virtual
drinking fountain.
And I kind of
separate but equals actually comes from Brown versus the Board of Education.
Thank you. That predates. Does it predate?
It postdates Jim Crow.
It does. There we go.
I think.
But we are going to go to the phones where we have. Well, hold on. Let me see. Just had to check and see if our time had built up. Looks like it has. We're going to William in Dallas, Texas. He wants to talk about UBI. William, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Oh man, you got the dump machine geared up?
I got it.
I got to be quick. No, I'm just kidding. I hope all is well.
All's good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, I was going to be very quick. I keep hearing various calls, talking about the universal basic income, UBI, or whatever it is. Anyway, I was thinking about that, and, just sounds ridiculous, first of all. But let's just go ahead and, throw out some numbers. What is the population of America? Isn't it 330 million, something
Heard
like that?
320 million, maybe a little bit more. Sure.
Okay, so, of course, 330 million or 320 or whatever, it's not all are going to be above age 18 and so forth, or whatever the criteria would be for the universal basic income. So I'm assuming that they mean people 18 years of age or older or something to that effect.
Okay.
Anyway, so if everybody is, so let's just say 150 million are eligible, or 18 or older. What do y'all?
For argument's sake, we're just speaking hypothetically. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So if 150 million people get $25,000 per year in universal basic income, which is a high number, I would say, that's 3.75 billion. Is that correct?
Don't have a calculator handy, but I'm going to trust your numbers, and we'll come back afterwards and fact check. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So if it's 150 million getting the 25,000 a year, it's 3.75 billion. If they're getting 15,000 a year, it's 2.25. We can just say. Anyway, long story short, how much you want to bet that if it was 25,000 per 150 million people or whatever, that 3.75 billion would actually cost? What would you speculate? Minimum double, right? Minimum. Right?
Yeah, given the efficiency of a bad government program, given the fact that more people will sign up that are actually intended to be in the program, I'm going to assume that most welfare programs will not instantly go away, and there will be stragglers.
Well, that's kind of the point of the UBI, from my point of view, is for everything else to go away, including, most importantly, the minimum wage.
Right.
Yeah, and that's probably maybe the best argument I've heard for it or whatever. And I'm just sitting here thinking, of course, like anything, like if you get your car, remember when car inspections became a thing? It started out, I don't know when it became a thing, but I'm assuming some kid got ran over by a car or something.
Right.
And everybody in the town was like, hey, man, everybody could tell that car was a death trap on wheels, and we should at least have some basic. People like, yeah, they probably should have brakes and a few other things, and then that became what it is today. You get air sniffers and all that good stuff and all that.
The standard.
Yeah. Like, and I'm just picturing. I don't know. I just, then you're gonna have to have a whole department dealing with the fraudulent claims of eligibility. And then all the people who are dead are still getting it, and all the Anyway, I can just imagine it being two times 2.75 billion is probably super optimistic. The estimate, it'd probably be more like 10 times or whatever.
I tend to agree with you, William. And nobody and I were kind of talking off air, talking about, if this thing were implemented in certain ways, his argument is, yes, it would be an improvement over what we have. And my comment off air was, just like all the other things that government does that worked out so well, don't forget that Social Security is a temporary program. That's a temporary program that was started in the 30s. Yeah, we still have it
temporary
today.
In the sense that it's a Ponzi scheme. It was designed to be forever.
Some people wouldn't see the Social Security as a Ponzi scheme, though.
Oh, well,
it's more than a Ponzi scheme. I mean,
it's more than a Ponzi scheme in that you're forced at gunpoint to participate.
Well, yeah, and you're gonna, I'm gonna pay you, $20,000 or $100,000, worth of income or over 20 years, and you're gonna pay me back $1 million back. I mean, that alone is just crazy.
Right.
But anyway, long story short,
but the returns are nowhere near that. I mean, if you took that money they take from you and put in Social Security, and you bought an index fund that's just the Dow, just the Dow Industrials average. You don't have to know anything about individual companies. You would have made so much more money.
and I agree. And the reason why I said $1 million was just because of inflation. And, you're going to be getting paid back $1 million now. At that time, $1 million will buy you a Toyota Corolla or whatever.
So maybe Ponzi is the wrong word. It's almost like it's a reverse Ponzi. You invest, you give me this money to invest for you, and I will guarantee you will lose money.
Yeah, basically that's... that is how a Ponzi scheme works, because the point of the Ponzi scheme is they don't really invest the money in something productive. They just keep it in their mattress,
right?
So it's not earning any money, but they claim it's earning money. So they pay people, pay you back with later investors' money.
William, thanks for the call. Maybe the worst marketed Ponzi scheme ever.
Well, I mean, you
Not
don't
really,
have to have good marketing if you can put a gun to the customer's head.
That's the absolute truth. 855-450 free. What's on your mind? I want to hear from you. Give me a call. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you ever feel like you're in jail? Not in a real jail, but a virtual jail because of your job, your stressful business, or maybe your current relationship where you're not allowed to do what you really want to do. There's another way to live. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. GoDark bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkbags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkbags.com/FTL.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at MyMagicMud.com. FTL20, MyMagicMud.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-3733 is our toll-free number. That spells 855-450-FREE. Free as in freedom. Free as in no free lunch. We were talking about UBI, the ultimate free lunch. The idea that you don't even have to work to get enough to survive. And we have some differing opinions on that. But first, I want to tell you about something I use every day, and that is the Edge wallet. Edge wallet is available for iOS and for Android devices. This is a cryptocurrency wallet. Just like you use a leather wallet to carry your greenback dollars in, you need a digital wallet to carry your digital cryptocurrencies. Buy, sell, trade, securely hold your cryptocurrencies. Edge Wallet is user controlled. That means you are the only one who has the keys to your money. You can keep them secure. There's support for Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, and many more. They've been building apps since 2014. In this industry, those are veterans. If you've been doing crypto since 2014, you've been around a while. Their tagline is securing your freedom. Try the Edge app out. You can find it in the iOS or the Android App Store. You can find out more about it by going to edge.app.
Before we go
edge.app.
Before we go on, I do want to mention something about the Edge app.
Yes.
It's not accessible for a blind person. So if there are any cryptocurrency enthusiasts who want to have the opportunity to develop an app for a blind person to use to store cryptocurrency, I'm welcoming you.
That's a good point. And Riley, you've been looking for a while. You've played around with a lot of them. Have you found any cryptocurrency wallets for a mobile device that are accessible to blind people?
The only wallet I found that's really the most accessible is the Dash wallet on iOS.
Gotcha. And that handles Dash, but it doesn't handle Bitcoin.
Right. It doesn't handle Bitcoin. It does not handle Bitcoin Cash or any other cryptocurrency, which to me is really sad.
Yeah, so there's definitely a market out there. And I think when we talk about, particular needs of a particular user group, it's not always going to be 1 million, 10 million, 100 million potential customers. But you will get loyalty. And we were talking earlier about, the blind community. Are they people that talk to each other? And when they find something that works, do they share that? Riley says they do. So whoever it is, and somebody will be the first one out to come up with a good wallet for blind people, they're going to get a lot of business. And that's the point. You don't need government to require Edge wallet to say you must make all your cryptocurrencies easily accessible to everyone regardless of their particular needs.
Right.
They can do it, and they can do it, and they can not do it at their own peril. They can choose to not be accessible to people with lots of disabilities, or they could say, you know what? This is worth us spending a couple hours on a week. Let's get this working. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, it would be nice if there was a way to economically seed open source projects.
Yeah.
There are different ways that people can fund open source projects.
True.
So you can do things through a GoFundMe and then pay the developers through that. That could be one way. But GoFundMe is usually for smaller amounts. Let's brainstorm. What else could you do? You could.
Well, probably you'd want something that was crypto based if you're doing a wallet. So, is there a version of GoFundMe for crypto? Is there a GoCryptoMe?
I don't know. I know there are lots of angel investor groups out there who are geared towards crypto, and there are people that will put up a certain sum of money. A couple of years ago, though, the way to do this was like, okay, first, Rich, you need to write a white paper, and then you need to release a coin and talk about how many billions of dollars everyone's going to get if they bought your coin. That was called an initial coin offering, and the federal government has taken a very poor view of those.
Yeah, well, a lot of the initial coin offerings were silly because when the system was first created, there was actually a market for silly ICOs for a while. But, the idea of doing that, of releasing a coin and having it be effectively stock, is certainly a sound and sensible idea. The thing is, if your idea, if you were doing an actual project, like you had a good idea on how to implement a wallet for the blind, then that would, I think that would be a reasonable way to go about it.
See, now the federal government, who I have never accused of being reasonable, chooses to look at a fundraising like that, saying there is an expectation that the investors are going to get some return on their money. Well,
that's not a lot of investors never get any return on their money because they invest in enterprises that fail.
True. But if there is an expectation, basically what it comes down to is this thing called the Howey test. Don't tell me what the court case was, but it involved some guy named Howey and identified 4 things that would make something a security. And a lot of these ICOs, or initial coin offerings, technically, the government said, well, they passed the Howey test, therefore, you're a security. And as such, you can't just offer a coin out there and imply that people could make money off of it. That makes it a security. You need to be registered with the SEC. This needs to be only available to accredited investors.
Exactly. They want to make sure that little people are shut out of the market.
Yes, and that is exactly what these laws do. So there are certain things, like for traditional investors, man, I wish I could have got in on this great stock. Well, you couldn't because you are prevented from getting in on that great stock because you're not an accredited investor. You don't have $250,000 liquid sitting in a bank account, which means liquid means you can go to the bank and withdraw it today and just instantly have it. So you are forbidden from lots of different investments. And the idea behind ICOs were, maybe we can do this without having accredited investors. And they did. And then suddenly the federal government comes down and says, these things are truly securities. We regulate them. You've got to play by our rules or you're going to jail. That's what the government does in almost every industry. They did the same thing in crypto. Some of the things that they shut down were completely ripoffs, but you should be the one to decide whether that's a ripoff. 855-450-FREE. What do you think? This is Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. It's a number you call if you want to get on the air with us. You can also hit us up on Discord. Discord is a very cool app. Just load it up on your mobile device, on your laptop, on your PC. Use your high-speed internet connection and your quality microphone. You will sound like you are right here in the studio with us. You can find out more at discord.lrn.fm. But first, I want to ask you a question. Is having white, bright smile important to you? If it is, you need to check out My Magic Mud. My Magic Mud is a black tooth powder. Yes, it is black, made of charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clay. They're fine to eat. They're not harmful. This stuff is clinically proven to whiten your teeth. It's available in most health food stores, Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, and Walmart in their natural beauty aisle. You can receive 20% off with coupon code FTL20. That's 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. That's mymagicmud.com. This stuff is amazing. I encourage you to give it a try and see if you get the same results that Mark Edge, another host, he raves about this stuff. He's been raving about it for years because he's been using it for years. That's mymagicmud.com. We're here in studio. It's myself, Chris.
Riley.
And nobody.
And Riley's a guest host. Riley is from Utah. Riley puts together Free Talk Live's Daily Digest. That's a condensed 30-minute version of our 3-hour radio show. He picks out the bits that he thinks are worth listening to. So that's kind of cool. You get to curate this, too. You get to...
I do. I get to put this thing together. Now, I won't have one available tonight because I've been kind of busy today. But I do like putting the show together, the digest together, because I get to hear Free Talk Live every single day. And Free Talk Live, by far, is one of my favorite radio shows.
Well, we appreciate that, and we appreciate you being in here with us. I mean...
Of course, it's so much fun. I have loved being on Free Talk Live. I was here last year and was on Free Talk Live 3 times. So if you want to go check those out, you can find them in the archives during the month of August.
We save everything here. Yeah, we're kind of pack rats that way, but you can listen to Free Talk Lives. You can go back and listen to, say 2010 Free Talk Lives. Maybe you'll come across the episode where Ian and Mark talked about this new thing 9 years ago called Bitcoin. They were looking at it then. They were talking about, wow, this stuff could really change the world. This could mean the government doesn't have a monopoly on money like it does today. So yeah, you can find those episodes in the archive, and it's pretty interesting stuff, I think.
Absolutely.
So we were talking about different ways one could raise money. If you wanted to do something like we were talking about apps for the blind or crypto wallets specifically for the blind. Is there a crypto form of sort of GoFundMe, or are there other ways to do this? That led us into a talk about, if you did make an offering to sort of raise money for a business venture, the government is going to stick their big snout in and say, wait. If you're offering this particular cryptocurrency with an expectation that people are going to make money, or that would be an end goal, hold on, you might be a security, and we've got a whole set of rules that cover that. I'm going to go to the phones where we've got Robert calling in from Ohio. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hi. So you guys were talking about accessible wallets for the blind, and I don't know that I'm actually a blind guy too.
Excellent.
And I don't know that we actually need a specific wallet. We just need the apps that are out there. We need to inform the developers to make their apps more accessible to us, because they can do that through the code of the app.
Okay.
That being said, I have reached out to Edge Tech Support for the Edge wallet, and they said that the code that the wallet is built on is not built for blind people in mind. So that's also a problem when coding is not designed for blind people in mind.
Yeah, so I just want people to understand that we don't need, if somebody made a wallet, I wouldn't have a problem with that, but we don't need a specific wallet. We just need app developers to know from the get-go that if they make their apps with like standard controls and things, we would be able to use them with our technology.
Right. And at some point, a lot of crypto wallets are still free. You can download one and I can use a whole bunch of free wallets. But it's going to get to the point where, I'm going to want a better wallet, and I'm going to be willing to spend, $2.99 for the app because it provides maybe its privacy features or security features that the free apps don't. So the point is that eventually crypto is going to transition from sort of this free or freemium model to a paid model. And if I were a wallet developer, I would want to develop using languages that have the right libraries that I could easily make my app available to blind people. Because you guys are a market.
And I don't have a problem. I'm a libertarian-minded individual as well. And I don't have a problem with us paying for accessibility. I mean, I'll pay for an app. I've paid a lot of money for apps.
Exactly.
I have no problem with that. I mean, we are the ones that we're in the minority, and we have the special need, and so we kind of have the responsibility of paying for it.
Exactly.
So what would Edge wallet, for example, not to pick on Edge, but what would they have to do differently in order to be accessible to the blind?
They'd have to change the code that the app is built on. Also, if they're going to make it accessible, they need to find a way to make sure that a blind person can sign in or create an account or find a way to save their keys or whatever.
Right.
I'm not an app developer, but
I
my
am.
minimal understanding. Okay, cool. So you can
Or
chip
have
in on
been.
this. If you develop under Windows, at least, I don't know if it's the same for iOS, but if you use the standard controls when you're developing an app and you don't paint like your own controls and make custom controls, it generally works well with access technology.
Interesting.
It's the same with iOS, as I understand it.
So it's really about app developers using, trying to include many of the standard build libraries that are available to them, and does it go off the rails when they try to get too fancy? I think that's the experience from a sighted person. Yes.
Well, yeah, and another common issue is that they don't put text labels on buttons and things. They'll just put an icon. And if you don't give VoiceOver, which is the screen reader that we use, if you don't give it like a text label or something to identify, and that's an easy thing to do. I mean, there's a lot of easy things they can do to start off with.
Right. Yeah, even an icon label, there's a way to attach a text to it, a description.
Yeah.
Yeah, so by doing some of those things, that would open up a lot of things that are not available to blind people, and that's
and a lot of them are little.
Actually, a question for both of you about. I know this is probably an impossible number to discern, but would you guys make a guesstimate on, what the total marketplace of blind, we'll just say Americans, of an age that use these sorts of apps? Is there a number out there that has been kicked around?
Crypto apps specifically? I have no idea.
No, not even crypto. I would just say, maybe mobile apps. I don't even know.
Oh, a lot of blind people do. Oh, I don't have a number, but I mean, a lot of senior blind will tend to use the easier devices. They try to stick with and all this is generalized, okay?
Do we know what percentage of Americans are blind, though?
I have no idea.
Legal.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's a simple.
Legal blindness? I don't know.
Robert, thank you for the call.
Thanks, Robert.
It does pose some interesting questions, and it's about knowing who your customers potentially could be. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens, and we're proud to promote amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Visit gcnlife.com for products like Luminesse. The Luminesse anti-aging skincare line restores youthful vitality and radiance to your skin, reducing the appearances of fine lines and wrinkles with stem cell technology. There's also Instantly Ageless, which works within 2 minutes, reducing under-eye bags, fine lines, wrinkles, and pores. Jeunesse has products to help you with how you look and feel in a very short time. Nobel-nominated Dr. Vincent Jampapa has designed several products helping the body perform better. Jeunesse products have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and they're available up to a 25% preferred price discount. See all of the amazing Jeunesse products at gcnlife.com or call toll-free 1-844-443-6637, 1-844-443-6637.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
If you're David, a few well-chosen words can help level the playing field with Goliath. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. Recently, I saw a Yellow Pages ad for an appliance repair company, and the headline read, "Why wait for Sears?" If you're going to the Yellow Pages, the Dead Sea Scrolls of advertising, you're ready to buy right now. So this is an attention-grabbing message. And how about the plumber whose radio ad says, "Call by noon Thursday, and we'll be there Saturday at no extra cost"? Smart guy. Most plumbing firms give their crew the weekend off. This one gives them Sunday and Monday off. In the words of a respected advertising executive, cut to the chase, make it quick, and tell me exactly what you can do for me, especially if you're looking for work. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. It's our final segment. It's been a wonderful evening filled with interesting conversation with lots of callers, and that's always good because it's our final segment. Doesn't mean you couldn't get on the air if you call right now, 855-450-FREE, or hit us up on Discord. You can find out more at discord.lrn.fm. But we've been talking...
And no knucklehead callers tonight. That was nice.
I know. Knucklehead hosts myself, only because
that's a given.
I'm somewhat disabled by Lyme disease, which makes my speech. Thank goodness you're not hearing impaired.
You got the lime in the coconut.
I've got the lime in my coconut. I did this whole round of antibiotics. It really knocked back a lot of the symptoms that I was having. I'm not going to say I'm not way better than I was, but I'm still impacted. I'm thinking I might do another round of antibiotics. And it's not that a doctor told me to take another round of antibiotics, but I will buy my own antibiotics because I know what worked for me. It got me, I think, halfway to being healed. I might take another round. I can do that because I know where to get antibiotics that are for fish. They are made for fish.
Okay.
But interestingly enough, they come off the same manufacturing line as the antibiotics for humans. Difference is I don't need a prescription. I don't need any government approval, anybody's approval. I can just order them myself, and I will choose to do that.
But Chris, someone will say, don't you think it's a little dangerous to take antibiotics that are developed for fish? Don't you want a doctor to prescribe something for you?
Well, I did. The doctor did prescribe my first round, and I took it. I took the human version, but I also know, thanks to the internet, that there is no fundamental difference between what's made for humans and what's made for fish. Now, I could be wrong. I may be.
That could be a scaly issue.
It could be. I may be breathing. I may be breathing through gills, like I could have tonight. It was really raining hard here, and
oh man, it was more rain than I've ever experienced in my life.
Yeah. You're from a relatively dry part of Utah.
Yeah.
Are there wet parts of Utah?
Salt Lake in northern Utah is a little more wetter than southern Utah. Southern Utah gets around 8 inches of rain a year, I think.
That's pretty low. So where I grew up in eastern Oregon, we got an average of 11 inches of precipitation.
Yeah, that's more like northern Utah. So.
Yeah, it was called semi-arid. It was great talk. You know, the farmers had come into our hardware store and was like, "Hey, catch that rain? We got 0.03 of an inch last night." I literally talk about the amount of rain in minute quantities because it all added up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But talking about this idea of are there apps that could be developed for the blind? And, Riley has told us that, particularly in cryptocurrency, hasn't been able to really find too many wallets. One, for the cryptocurrency Dash that he can work with. But the most, it's sort of a common problem in, it seems like, mobile app development, not to use pictures, have to, put a text label on stuff. That helps the reader software. And are there other things that could be done that would make things more accessible? Now, what you haven't heard the three of us say is you should have a law that says that. That's not really how I roll. I don't want to see a law that requires every app developer to come up with a blind version. What I hope to do is point out that this is a community that's underserved.
It is. It's an underserved community. It's really hard to live in a world that, like I've said earlier, it's not made for me. Everyone knows what it's like to see. I don't.
Yeah. And you've lived with blindness your entire life, correct?
Yeah, I was born blind.
Yep. So, and the rest of us, if you were born with sight, you take it for granted. I mean, this is just how it is. But, I want to accommodate as many people as is economically possible. I want Riley to be a consumer. He comes in my store when he visits. I appreciate that, and we do everything we can to make sure that our goods are accessible to him. Now, if Riley comes in our store and has questions about cryptocurrency, we'll help him out.
Yep.
But just that basic thing of having a crypto wallet that he could use and control his own money, that's a challenge right now. So
exactly, and I think cryptocurrency has the advantage, and cryptocurrency wallets have the advantage of you being your own bank because you own your private keys. I would not recommend getting, like, if you're going to buy Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash on an exchange, don't keep your money on that exchange. No. Put it in your own wallet where you have the keys.
And you own the keys. And Barack Obama famously said, he's talking about Bitcoin. It's like, well, we can't just have people running around with the equivalent of a numbered Swiss bank account in their pocket, in their wallet.
That's where you're wrong, kiddo.
Well, I agree.
Yes, we can.
I agree with him.
Isn't that another one of his slogans?
But he wasn't wrong about the part that most people think. Having cryptocurrency isn't like having a numbered Swiss bank account. It's like having a Swiss bank. In other words, it has the security. It cannot be hacked. It is if you put in the diligence to protecting your funds that are all there, you have the security of a Swiss bank. Now, the flip side of that is you also now have the responsibility of maintaining that security so you don't get robbed.
So don't leave your phone somewhere. Make sure your phone has good locks and security on it.
And make sure you have those magic words backed up someplace.
Right. Yeah. Or, and another thing that's become a thing is how do I write my will in such a way that will enable access for my loved ones? And now we have things called multi-signature wallets. So let's say my girlfriend, my son, and my third cousin, I want them to be recipients of my funds when I die. I also don't want to give it all of the key to each one of them and basically put a price on my own head because my girlfriend. No, I'm just kidding, Colleen. I know you probably wouldn't kill me. But what I could do is I could create a multi-signature wallet, and I could give each one of those. I'm going to say the wallet needs 2 out of 3 signatures to be unlocked, and I'm going to say that Colleen has one part and Alex has another, and this fictitious third cousin has a third part. If 2 of those were to certify that I was deceased, then the wallet could be accessed, and I could give even a fourth one to my attorney to make sure they're not really trying to kill me.
Well, the easiest way to do that is just take those 12 words and encrypt them.
You can.
And then once the combination of them that is required has gotten together and done the magic, they get back the words and they can install it in any wallet.
It's exactly the point being you do have to come up with a way to safely back these things up and share them. I don't want to share my wallet password with anybody until I want them to have that. So there are ways to do that, but it's caused people in today's crypto world to consider something that really wasn't considered when Bitcoin came out. You know what I mean? When when Satoshi Nakamoto invented Bitcoin, he wasn't immediately thinking of people's wills. That has been one of those things that's had to be addressed since then. And there are a lot of ways to do it, but you got to give that some thought too if you have a sizable amount.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to make sure it's secure, because all of a sudden, for people that have amassed a sizable amount of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, that's a target.
Yeah,
and that's a target. And if you go on Facebook and you talk about, man, to the moon, I'm making so much money on all my millions in Bitcoin, you are subject now to what is called the wrench attack. A wrench attack is when a guy comes up and beats you over the head with a wrench until you give up your private keys. It's not quite as elegant as some other forms of attack, but it is equally effective.
Exactly.
True.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing to contemplate. And again, back to this question of what can we do for the blind? What can Dominoes do instead of going to the Supreme Court to ask them to make them say that the government cannot tell us how to build an app?
Well, I mean, Domino's is defending itself from a suit under a law that shouldn't exist, so it's not really a question of what could they do differently. It's a question of can the government be made to leave them alone?
And we hope.
That's always the question, isn't it?
It always is. We're out of time. I want to thank you for joining us for this very special episode. Thank you, Riley, for showing up on the show. Thank you, Nobody. Fun. This is Free Talk Live.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynavite.
Come to